it's all gonna be good. Don't worry about nothing, don't worry about nothing, nothing now. It's all gonna be good. So breathe like you know you should. Yeah, breathe.
Alright, hello and welcome back once again to my channel. In today's video, we'll be looking at how to create this amazing card visual in Power BI. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you would know and understand that I like to show how to do some things before I move on to creating a project on them. So, in view of this, in the year 2026, the first project that we have, like so, this particular project, right? This particular project, what I want to do is that I would like to show you how I do each and everything that I did in there before the project goes live, so that by the time the project goes live, you already have an idea of how this and this and this was done or is done. All right, and so that is why today we are doing this. And so in this video, we are looking at how to create this amazing card visual in Power BI. If you've been following for a while, you would understand that in the year 2025, we only used the card visual that we have in Power BI. So we only worked on cards using this, all right. And then what we are going to do is that, or what we normally do is, we just let me shift this here. What we normally do is we just put in our KPI, all right. So like so, total amount, and then we format it and we leave it as so, all right. By the year 2026, we want to take it a step further. And so if you haven't watched, or you're a complete beginner new to this channel, you can kindly go back and watch my other videos and how I built my other projects, so that you get used to how a few of these things are done before you jump into this intermediate or a little bit more advanced stuffs that we'll be tackling this year. Okay, and so like I've already said, this is how normally our cards are presented, but in today's video we are going to go a step further into preparing this. Now, how do we prepare this? Now, there are a few things that comes into mind or that you should take in consideration before starting to prepare something like this. One, you should still have your total sales. All right, you will be taking into consideration previous month sales, preparing the month over month sales, and the difference. Now, if you don't know how to prepare time intelligence functions in Power BI, what I mean by that is month over month, year over year, things like that. I also have a video on that, and you can check that out as well. All right. And so now that we have our visualization, what we are going to see is that since we based our visualization on month over month percentage, you can see that we have a slicer here. This slicer hosts the month, and what is going to happen is that once we click on this, the card visual is going to change in accordance with what we are looking for. Now, this change you see here is simply showing us that there was a 19% or a 90.3% increase from the previous total sales. All right, and so let me just show you a typical example. So now you can see that in January we made a total sales of $294. All right, so if I'm to select February, you can see that February is showing that we made a total sales of $328, and it's showing that from January to February there was an increase of about 11.6% in total sales. All right, if you go to March is also going to show that from February to March there was about 46.4% increase in total sales, and it can continue like so. If you go to April, you can see that for April we only made $241. That means that was a decrease in total sales from the previous month, which is March. All right, and now May is going to show an increase. And so whenever we select our month slicer, it's going to reflect in our card visual. All right, so what we are going to see is we are going to see the current month sales, and we are going to see the previous month percentage change in sales. Do you understand? All right, and so that is what we are actually looking at, and this is an amazing visual to help you in your projects, all right, to make your projects look stunning. And also, if you are working in a corporate world, this is going to let your managers know that indeed you know what you are doing when it comes to Power BI. All right, so without much ado, let's jump into it. So like I said, this is what we are going to work with. This is what we are going to be formatting. All right, so we are going to be taking the total sales like so. So this is total sales. Okay, and what we are going to do, the first thing that we want to do is we want to format our card. All right, so this is simply a card visual showing the total sales. Right? So this is simply a card visual showing the total sales. There's nothing too cumbersome with this. Alright. So what we can do is that now we can go ahead and we can go and format this visual. Alright. So we can come right here and then format the visual however way we want to format the visual. Alright. So we are just going to format it however way we want to format it. Okay. And that depends entirely on you. Okay. So what you want to do with your card visual, all right, that is fine. So in this particular case, I want to remove my dividers and my background. All right. So I want to remove all of this. I want my callouts to be a little smaller. All right, because we are going to be adding some other things. So I want my callout values to be a little smaller. So currently is sitting at around 24. So I like to reduce the callout to about 13. So you can see it right here. And then I'm going to change the font, and I'm going to use Times New Roman. I'm going to bolden this, all right, and I'm going to make this black. Okay, so like so. All right, but I can also just increase a little bit to maybe 14. All right, so like so. Let me still make it bigger. All right, let me make it a little bigger. I'm about 20. About 20 looks fine, right? Okay. Now what you can do is you can either put it in the middle or put it at the left side or the right side. Depends on you. Okay. And so if you want to align it this way, you can do it. All right. So any where you want to put it. All right. In this case, I'm putting it over here. Okay. So that is my values. And then after that, I'll come to my label. So this is my label. All right. And for the label, I think I'm going to make this. Let me make this 10. Okay. And so like so. All right. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come right here and I'm going to make the color black. Okay, and so now this is that, and I think I'm okay with this. So let's put this in, and I think I'm okay with my card. All right, I think I'm okay with my card. What I can also do is I can also come here and put some borders around my card. All right, so some borders around my card. Now you might be hearing a little boy screaming and making, that's my nephew. So kindly forgive me if you hear some background noises. He's still about some months old, so you can't really ask him to stop. All right, so kindly forgive me. And so yeah, we can just do so. All right, and so all right, so now we are done. So this is our card visual. And a normal circumstance, this is supposed to be our card visual, where a lot of the times you will see the values in the middle. All right, and then we leave it as so. But like I said, we want to see the change in previous month's salary. All right, we want to see the change in previous month's salary when we select anything from our slicer. All right, our month slicer. Okay, now in order to get a month slicer, you have to have created your calendar table. All right, I don't know what a calendar table is. I've done this so many times in my project. All right, so I just created a new table, and then this is the formula. So calendar dim table, calendar main. All right, and then a max to get the calendar table from the date. All right, from the date table that we already have in our actual data set. All right, so from the release date. Okay, and so we have our calendar table. So that's how we created our calendar table. Now if you want me to actually go into details and explain what calendar tables are and how to actually do this, just leave a comment down in the comment section down below, and I'll probably make a deep dive into how to create calendar table on this one. All right, so you can do that. So I created my calendar table, and then it's from the calendar table that we have our months over here. All right, so now that I've created this and I've created my calendar table, now what I'm going to do is, now it's important to create a calendar table because we are going to be using our calendar table to create our previous month sales. All right, that is why it's important to create a calendar table, because based on the calendar table that we created, we can now get our previous month sales. All right, and I've already created a previous month sales in my measure, and that is simply going to be, and like I said, if you haven't watched my video on time intelligence, kindly go back and watch them, because I explain how to calculate for previous month sales, month over month sales differences, and all of that. All right, and so for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just show you how I did that. So for my previous month sales, which is days, previous month total sales, this is the formula. So it's simply the previous month sales is we are using the calculate function to calculate for our total sales, because we already have our total sales as a sum of total sales. All right, so we are calculating our total sales, and then for previous month we are going to be using date add. All right, and then -1 if we are looking for the month. All right, -1. If you are looking for the years, it's simply going to be calendar date -1 and then year. all right, to get a previous year, or some people also probably use same period last year, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, and so this is our previous month sales. All right, so now we've gotten our previous month sales. Now the previous month sale is important because that's what is going to help us to find the month over month percentage change. All right, that is what is going to help us find the month over month percentage change. So if you do not find the previous month sales, then it's not going to work. All right, so now we've found our total sales, that's our current month sales. We've also found our previous month sales. All right, so now what are we going to do? So now we are going to have to go look for our month over month percentage change. And what is the month over month percentage change? The month over month percentage change is simply going to be the current month sales minus the previous month sales divided by the previous month sales. All right, and then multiply by 100% or in percentage. So that's going to be our month over month percentage. So we are looking at difference. We are looking at one, current month sales, two, previous month sales, three, difference, and then we are going to find the percentage. All right, and so in view of this, I have already worked on all of that. All right, and so I have it month over month percentage for total sales. All right, so this is the formula that I use. All right, so I know this might seem a bit scary and frightening, especially if you are just starting out, but this is nothing. We are just using the variables, all right, to do all of this in one, and I will explain what this is all about. All right, so just relax. So we have our amount of a month percentage total sales, all right, and so that is what we are basing or we are looking for. All right, and the amount of a month's total percentage sales, now you can do it separately like I did in my tutorial on time intelligence function. All right, but now if you've already watched those videos and you've practiced over the time, all right, over the months that I posted it, you should already be comfortable with what this is all about. So when I explain it now, it should be easy for you to understand. If you are still having difficulties understanding, then means you need to go back and watch that particular video. Is the time intelligence functions in Power BI. I broke everything down into simpler into simpler terms. All right, so you should just go and check that out. All right, so I digress. So moving on, so we are using the variables, and what I'm simply saying is I'm saying that this CM, all right, if you see CM, then the CM is equal to total sales. All right, so I'm representing my total sales with CM, that is current month sales. So I'm representing my current month sales with CM. All right, and the current month sales in this case is my total sales. All right, so that is what you can see right over here. So variable current month sales equal to my total sales. So CM is the abbreviation for my total sales. Okay, and then right after that, another variable, and I say PM. So what is my PM? So whenever Power BI sees my PM or reads my PM, it should keep in mind that it's simply my previous month sales, and that is what we've just created. So if you remember, we created the previous month sales where we use the calculate and the date add minus one and then a month. So that is our previous month sales. So we have already have a function for the previous month sales, and that is what we are representing over here by saying that PM should be equal to our previous month sales. Now another variable, and this is VAR space and then underscore PERC, that is percentage. All right, so this is our percentage, and the percentage difference is simply going to be, we are going to be dividing our current month sales minus our previous month sales, all divided by the previous month sales, like I already explained. So that is simply what we are saying over here. All right, when you use the divide functions, it's not going to be as though CM minus PM divided with that line and then PM. No, with the divide function is in Power BI, it's simply going to be divide CM minus PM and then comma, and then so the comma symbolizes the division line that normally you would see. All right, and so comma and then the PM. So this is our percentage. All right, so our percentage. Now we are going to come down here and I'm going to say, all right, so now that we've gotten this, all right, so under normal circumstances, we are going to end right over here because this is our month over month percentage. That is what we are actually supposed to get to. All right, our month over month percentage should be up to this point. But then I went ahead to say that no, and so if this is it, that I want to format my percentage, all right, my month over month percentage. And so the next step simply shows me formatting my month over month percentage. All right, and I'm formatting it by saying that the percentage should be equal to, so if it's an increase, all right, if when I come here, all right, if this is an increase, so you can say this is an increase, then I want the formula to be like this. It should be plus and then the increment figure. all right, it should be plus and then the increment figure. And now if it is a decrease, like I think April, if it's a decrease like so, then it should be minus and then the decrement figure, all right. And so that is essentially what you are seeing right over here. So that is what, so you see the plus and then the figure format, and then this simply semicolon is showing that if it's not an increment, if it's a decrease, then this should be the format, all right. So that's what that is all about. It's as simple as that, all right. And now I say, so we are going to return if. Now if you are familiar with the if function, this shouldn't be anything difficult. We are saying if, now that we formatted it, we are saying if this percentage, all right, if the percentage value is greater than 0, all right, then what are we going to do? If the percentage value is greater than 0, then unique, this is simply a color code, all right, showing that it should be green, all right. It's simply a color code showing that it should be green, all right. So the color should change to green, all right. And we will explain why that, because we also created a conditional formatting measure, all right. So we are saying that if the percentage, all right, if this percentage, all right, after finding your total sales or previous sales, and find the percentage by dividing the cm minus pm or comma pm, all right, if it's greater than 0, then the color code that should come up should be green, all right, plus the additional format, all right. So this format plus the additional format. Else, that is if it's not above 0, that means if it's a negative figure, if it's a decrease item, then we want the color should be red, and this is the color code for red, all right, plus the format. So it's as simple as that, all right. Don't get it twisted or confused, all right. It takes time to get used to these things, but I do hope the explanation made some sense. If it did, just let me know in the comment section below. If it didn't, you can let me know, and if I need to make another separate video on this, I'll be sure to do that, all right. Just so you can follow along and we can all move from grace to grace this year. Okay, all right. So this is my month over month total sales, all right. So now that I'm done with this, I've gotten this. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to pick my month over month sales, all right. So like so, all right. So we have this. Okay. Oh, all right. So now that we've gotten this, so currently you can see it is at 2 tips. Yes, I saw it at 2 tips. So what we are going to do is we are going to take it from 2 tips. We don't want it at 2 tips. Okay. So we are going to move it from 2 tips, and we want to use that as the value. Okay. We are going to use that as the value, and it's going to be a card. So I'm just going to take this right from here, and I'm going to put it in my value, all right, so that we can see it right over here. Okay. Okay, so I have this in my value. All right, so now this is beginning to look pretty cool. All right, so if I click on June, you can see that it's changing accordingly. If I click on May, it's changing accordingly. So it means we have this sorted out the way we want it. All right, so now that we've gotten this, now what do we do? So what we are going to do is we are going to again format this item. All right, so I can just click on this, go to format painter, and then voila. Okay, so that we can have something like this. Okay, so we have this, but we want to make it small. Okay, and we don't want the month over month percentage total, so you can just go ahead and remove that. Okay, so I'm going to come right here and I'm going to do a little bit more of formatting. All right, so like so, and let's go back. All right, let's see if there's any other thing that I need to do right over here. So I'm going to leave this for now. All right, so that is fine. Okay, all right, so this is essentially formatting. So we are just trying to format it a little bit more and see how best it can look. Okay, all right, so let's go to call out, and I think with call out I like to do, I wouldn't want to say this. Oh my door, I wouldn't want to say this, so I can just remove the label. All right, so that now we just have this. Okay, now we just have this, but you can see it's still not showing, so we can just go to padding, and yeah, can just go to padding, and we can make this 0. So we make this 0, we make this 0. All right, and let's see. Okay, all right, so this seems to be coming off okay, but we can still go ahead and then side that. That means the figures are still too big. All right, they are just equal to what we have here. Kula Meshak here and still in the course of the video. Just wanted to take a minute and to let you know that if you're a small business owner or someone trying to break into data analytics, hey, you should know that I can help you move faster without confusion. Over here, I offer one-on-one data analytics coaching where I teach you podcast skills in Power BI, SQL, Excel, Python, alright, and business insights tailored to your goals. Whether it's for improving decisions or landing a role, you are at the right place. I also need you to know that I've also created a Power BI beginner ebook that breaks everything down step by step, no jargon, no overwhelming. And so if you are ready to actually understand data and use it with confidence, I'll ask you to check the links right below. I've attached it to my video. Alright, and you can see, so this is my one-on-one coaching where you can book a coaching session with me and you can get to ask me questions directly and I can help you to solve any problem that you are looking to solve when it comes to data analytics. You can also find my ebook here, right? And so if there is something that you like, you can simply go in and then you can purchase it, and it's quite affordable, so you can just go in and purchase it, and trust me that you are going to get the value that you are looking for as you buy this book. All right, so without much ado, I digress. Let's move back to the video. The figure is still too big. It's just similar to what we have here, so we have to reduce that figure. Okay, so I'm going to come here and reduce it to 13. All right, so I'm going to reduce it to this, like so. Okay, now this is beginning to look hello. Okay, right, so this is beginning to look a little good. Now let's remove the border. All right, I don't want the borders on this particular one. Okay, so you can just come right here, remove background. Okay, and then now you can come down here and remove the border. All right, so that now we have something just like this. Okay, all right, you have something just like this. Okay, now if you just put this here, if you just bring this and put this here, like so, this isn't what we want. All right, even though we are there, but this isn't entirely what we want. Okay, this isn't entirely what we want. All right, so let me increase this space a little bit just for practice. All right, when you are doing it, you can make it smaller, bigger, depends on you. Okay, what's that? Okay, so now we have like so. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is to create this shape. All right, so we are going to create this shape. Okay, so I'm going to come out here and I'm going to go to insert and then get the shape. All right, so go to shape. You can use any of the shapes, but in this case I'm using the pill. All right, so like so. So this is going to be our shape. All right, so this is going to be our shape. All right, so okay, so we have our shape, and I can bring this shape right down here. So first let me take this out, and I'm going to put this shape right in here. I think we can still make the shape a little smaller, right? So like so, like so. All right, and it fits perfectly. All right, and so if we are to put this in here, it's supposed to be like so. All right, it's supposed to be like so. But yeah, so this is showing outside. So if you just put it in, so we can, what we can just do with this is to say, you know what, I think I'll go to format. We are going to put this shape to the back. All right, so we are going to send this shape to the back, so to back. All right, yeah, it is, it's out of it as well. Yeah, right. Okay, it's out again. So we put this at the back. All right, so we put this to back so that we can get a shape. All right, so this is our shape. Okay, so if I'm to put this inside this, all right, this is typically how it's supposed to show. Okay, so that if I go to June, you can see change in there. If I go to May, you can see change in there. But you can see that this color, this changes with the color. All right, the value in there changes with the color. Okay, and so if it's a decrease, it shows red. If it's an increase, it shows gray. Okay, so it changes with the color like so. And so if you go to April, you can see that because it's a decrease, it's red, but this is still showing blue. and that's not what we want. So what we are going to do is that we are going to create a conditional formatting measure. All right, we are going to create a conditional formatting measure, and then that conditional formatting measure, we are going to use it as a basis to be able to change this color from red to green when there's an increase or there's a decrease. Right, so that's what you are going to do. So how do you create a conditional formatting measure? And so the conditional formatting measure, all right, so like again, I've already created it. It's just simple. This is also nothing big. So we are simply saying that conditional formatting, and then if the variable, all right, is total sales, CM is equal to total sales. If the variable is PM, then that is previous month sales, all right, and then the variable underscore PRC, that is our division, all right. But this is not what is really important. This is just a measure for us finding our previous month sales, percentage change, and all of that, all right. What is really important is this actual part, all right, and this part is saying that if the percentage, all right, so if this, all right, after our calculations dividing the CM minus PM, all right, and all of that, if it is greater than 0, then we want to return a green. If it is less than 0, then we want it to return a red. All right, this is a simple if function. All right, so if the percentage change is greater than 0, give us a green. If the percentage change is less than 0, give us a red. All right, it's as simple as that. So we create this conditional formatting measure. All right, what we are going to do is that we are going to come into this particular shape, okay, and we are going to come right here, okay. So we are going to come to the shape. So this is what we are looking for. So we come to the shape, and I'm going to go to style. All right, and this is conditional formatting. Now I have a video on conditional formatting as well. I've explained all of this, all right, in my conditional formatting video. If you don't know, you can just check that out. All right, and so come to this conditional formatting. I'm going to click on FX. All right, and we are going to get this, and because we have a measure for our shape color, instead of gradient, we are going to change it from gradient, and we are going to use what we call the fold value. Okay, we are going to use what we call the fold value, and for the fold value, I'm going to go in and select the measure that I've created. All right, and the measure is conditional formatting. All right, that is the measure that I've created, and it's in my measure table. All right, so I'm going to go into my measure table, and I'm going to select my conditional formatting measure. So this is the measure that I've created, and then I'm going to click on OK. All right, and so like so, now you can see that now it's changed. So if I'm to put this right in there, right, and one thing that we can do is let's change the color for the text. All right, so we can simply change the color for the text. Let's align it to this. All right, so we can simply change the color for the text and say, all right, so for the values in that particular thing, we don't want it to be black, we want it to be this. All right, and so we just change it, all right, like so. All right, and so now that we have this, what we are going to do is that now we are going to go back to our slicer, that is our month slicer. All right, now like I said, you can do this for the year over year percentage change as well. You simply have to go create a new total sales, previous year sales. Then you can go and find the difference, and then like so, and then you find the PERC, you find your current year sales minus previous year sales divided by the previous year sales, and then all of that. All right, so by this case, we are looking at the month over month percentage. All right, we want to calculate for the month over month percentage. And so now that we have this, if I'm to come here to my month slicer and select, you can see that now everything is working accordingly. All right, everything. Now you have your current month sales, and then your previous month sales. You see whether there was an increase or there was a decrease in your previous month sales, like so. So it just goes and follows. Everything seems all right, right? And so yes, this is going to bring us to the end of today's session. And I want to say, hey, if you found this video helpful and it provided a level of value for you, hey, don't be sure to like this video and be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can join the Nakama. All right, it means so much to me. Okay, and yeah, I hope to catch you in the next one. Stay safe, and I'll see you. Bye bye.